Folks, it is that time where we get to look at 2025 real estate market and compare it to 2024. Was it much to do about nothing? Was it a complete disaster? Or heck, did it surprise to the upside? Well, let's dig into King County, aka Seattle, and see what we see.
Right.
How you doing, Beth?
Hi, doing great. Happy to be back. Happy to be gearing up for 2026 and, looking back a little bit at 2025. And were the Crash Bros right? Did the bottom fall out?
Exactly.
No, it didn't. I mean,
shocking.
I know, right? Yeah, no big surprise there. We do have from the Northwest MLS our annual report for the numbers. And we're looking at King County, which is Seattle, but also the greater area around Seattle, including the east side, which is a different market, but related. And so the basic takeaway is that inventory is up. So as far as new listings, we're up 10.87%.
So just so I'm clear, you're saying new listings and inventory. Are you referring to active inventory? So we have roughly 10%.
Active inventory is up 41.94%. So,
oh my
God.
God.
The new listings so basically we're our inventory is way up. Or was way up. We're now into a new year, right? But for 2025, the story of the year was inventory up.
Got it.
But however, our months of inventory never got higher than 2.76 months at any given month.
Interesting.
And it ended the year in December at 1.68 months of inventory. So it's like, yeah, you can slice that a couple different ways, right? Like you can say that the inventory has skyrocketed, and that could be, potentially true.
That's 41%.
Not really a lie, right? But then it's like we're right now, as of December, we were at 1.68 months of inventory for residential. I'm not counting condo.
Right.
Condo really has been suffering. I think across the country, we've been hearing that consistently. For a lot of reasons. So because of that, I just kind of excluded that out. Plus in our area, condos are getting muddled by these dadu. People condo-ize the lots where they have a house that turns into a condo with a dadu in the back. So that's muddied the numbers. But
got it.
Yeah. So our peak inventory was in September with 2.76. And so that kind of aligned, everything does sort of align with your assessment of August being the bottom.
Yeah,
I have seen that, so it's consistent.
And again, that's really interesting because again, I think what you're pointing at here, again, these are 25 numbers. We will definitely close on January because I think January is very different than some of the numbers we're seeing here. But we'll do that in a minute. Again, the August bottom is going to prove to be an amazing call for the country because we have seen month after month, September, October, November, and December, 4 months in a row, where momentum is picking up in most markets. So pretty interesting. Okay. Definitely. All right. So inventory up.
Yeah. Inventory up. Pending sales down 1.23%.
Again,
so
year on year.
Year on year, 2025 over 2024.
Yep.
Closed sales down 2.91%. So it's like, okay. Yep. And so we're not seeing, even though we have so much more listing inventory, the sales are still holding up, but we're not.
And you know why I think both pendings and transactions or solds are down. It's not because of the end of the year. It just goes to show you how bad the spring selling season was.
Yeah.
Right. You guys were off like 20 and 25% in February,
really
March,
bad.
and April.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was really dramatic, and it'll be interesting to see how things take shape.
Oh, you're going to have an easy compare. You're going to get over those in street shoes.
I know, right? So
it's going to be wild. We're up 80%.
I know, it's like anything is easy compared to that. So, so overall, I would say like 2025 was sort of it was just kind of a steady year.
It's the bottom.
It just kind of went kind of meh, it's like nothing really exciting, high or low. It just kind of bounced along. Not huge price gains.
Do you see the flashing light on your side?
I see the flashing lights. I have no idea, guys, why it's doing that. The lights are not flashing here, just so you know.
That's funny.
I blame the internet somehow.
There you go. Yeah. Well, let's
I'm
well
not
let's
in
hit
a club
price.
here. Yeah.
That's right. It's not a strobe light. Well, let's hit price. What did price do year on year?
Yeah. So sales prices were up 2.62%.
Oh my
So
God.
I
Inventory
know.
up 41%, transactions down, prices up. That's going to
Somehow the
blow up
price
the
still
mind of
managed to
Crash
go
Bros.
up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Oh, that's hilarious.
what gives there? You know, it's just interesting. It just goes to show you that the prices are sticky. Sellers are sticking to their guns. And they're not taking the low offers in the most. Some are, but enough are not that we're keeping the prices.
That's going to be really interesting because here's a prediction for 2026. And I like to make predictions. It's just fun for me. It's entertaining. So 2025, I'm going to call it the year of delistings. What does that mean? That just means there was a lot of sellers who had wish pricing.
Yeah.
Right. And they tried to get $1 million for a 900K prop. I'm just making stuff up. And instead of going to 900, they took it off the market. Some percentage of those will not come back. Some percentage of those will become rentals. But here's the deal. A lot of them will come back in the spring. And this is a guess. This is just a complete guess, a prediction. They're going to be a lot more sensitive to pricing it right, which means maybe they go out at 950 in this example I'm playing with.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really wild to see, especially if interest rates stay low, around 6%, because I think demand's going to come flying back. And we're going to see again, your transactions this spring are going to dwarf last spring. It'd be hard to be worse.
It would be hard to be worse for sure. And it's interesting. I'm already seeing a few of those listings come back. So, like our market here in the Seattle area is it happens earlier our peak happens earlier in the year where the rush happens, starting usually right about now in late January. And I am seeing some of those listings that didn't sell before. They were taken off the market for a while. In our MLS, if you're off 60 days, you can restart your days on market at 0. Otherwise, if you just come off for a month and back on, all those days just follow you. So some sellers took it off over the holidays and they're relisting now with a fresh start. I'm not really seeing them come back at lower prices, which is interesting.
But it'll be interesting if they're more sensitive though, right? Because again, they've already been out once before. They didn't get anything. They might come back at the same number, but just the human condition. Let me just play it out, right? You try to list your house in September. Nothing in September, nothing in October. The holidays come, you take it off the market. Then you come back out as soon as the 60 days pass, which I'll call it January 15th for this example. So you restart the clock. The fact that you've brought it out a second time tells me you're motivated. You have something you want to do, right? You want to move, you want to liquidate something. I have to imagine they're going to be more sensitive to take something less than list price. It's just the human consumer. Yeah.
They're ready to move. And it takes a lot. It takes a toll on folks to have their house on the market a long time. And they do get worn down after a time. And when I'm looking at the pendings over the last week or so, I'm kind of seeing a mix. So now we're looking at January, but what I'm seeing is the ones that have the long market time that didn't come off the market, that are just plugging along 90 days, 120 days on the market. A lot of those have gone pending in the last week or two.
Really?
They're getting picked up. And then we've seen a bunch of new ones that are going off the market in 2 days. So the fresh new inventory is getting snatched up. The old inventory is starting to get picked up too. And I'm not seeing any surge of new listings yet so far this year, because people are still getting their houses ready to list post holidays. We're in that tension time. But what's interesting too is I haven't seen in our market, when we start to see the review dates come back, that's when we know the market is really hot. And I haven't seen that. But if we get enough listings, new listings that come up and go pending in less than a day, people are going to start picking up on that, and they're going to start putting review dates on there. And then we're off to the races, but I'm not seeing that yet. So it's interesting because normally by this time in January, I would start to see more review dates come up. But I'm not.
This is why Yeah, this is why I love the fact you've been on the channel for so many years, because I get to learn King County along with you. And again, the thing that I've learned about King County is demand comes back faster than supply. And that's why you're probably seeing people pick up on the old listings, because again, demand is a moment, it's a decision. Where supply is, oh, I got to get my house ready, I got to declutter, I got to get the carpets cleaned, touch up paint, all that, just more stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think we're seeing the early signs of demand picking up. And again, while 2025 was the year of delisting, I think 2026 is going to be the year of relisting. So it's going to be fun to watch that and getting insight on that.
Yes. And one of these other things that's kind of more of a leading indicator is our open house activity over the weekend was bonkers. So
really, wow.
Yeah. So like we had a new listing that had 21 groups through, and I'm like, that's really good. And then a bunch.
That's a big number.
For us, that's a big number, because we've been seeing maybe we'd be lucky to get 4 groups, in December. Right. And to go from that to 21 is great. So that shows me, so the metrics I track are we getting showings? Am I getting calls after those showings? Are people requesting the inspection report? And when those things are happening, I know we're in the zone. And I've been getting that more. So, and even on some of the listings that were the higher tier, the 2 million plus that were struggling, that has been popping too, which is interesting. So it's
interesting.
Those higher end buyers are feeling maybe a little more secure now.
Well, it's funny, because I've been thinking about that, because I think the stock market, again, I think we're seeing some of that today coming in. I think there's going to be a lot of people moving their chips around. So what you might be seeing is people exiting the stock market and moving their liquidity into another asset. So we might just be seeing a transition of equity, which will be interesting to follow.
It will be interesting to follow. So I'm happy to see that, because at that upper tier of the market has been really struggling for like the last year. It almost seemed like there was nothing anybody could do to get any traction there. So it's good to see some of those go pending and more activity happening on those. But they still got to be priced right. You cannot be, has to be priced to sell.
And when something goes pending, I'm going to guess you don't know what it goes pending at. You won't know that until the closing. Is that correct?
Correct. Sometimes agents will share some of that information, but it's kind of confidential technically.
Yeah, of course, until it's closed, right? Yeah. So it'll be interesting. One of the things I'll be looking at is the close to list price ratio, because historically speaking, King County's been 99 plus, and many times over 100%. It'll be interesting to see if January comes in lower because of those aged listings, right? The ones that were 90, 100.
Yes, it will be interesting to see. But what also kind of muddies those numbers up is they go off the most recent list price on that.
Not the original list price.
People cancel and relist, or do the drops. They don't usually go from the original list price to the sold price.
Yeah.
And when they're publishing their stats, it's based on the list price it was at when it went under contract and sold. And then you got people in here's another little factoid for the Northwest MLS is if you cancel and they don't let you cancel and relist for no reason. You have to have a meaningful price change. So if a seller is willing to drop 5%, they can cancel their listing and relist as a new listing at the new price.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, so that can muddy the numbers a little bit.
For sure. But it's going to be fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch King County. Again, King County is interesting to me because, again, it's a tech heavyweight. It is also a spot where wealth effect is on full display, i.e. the $2 million market is cranking again. So, Beth, thank you for being here. If somebody wanted to reach out, get a referral to another top agent, what do they do?
So you can go to my website, bethtraversogroup.com, or just Google my name. You'll find me all over social media. And I'm also in the school community too. So people can find me in there if they want to.
There you go, folks. I found the link. There it is, bethtraversogroup.com. Give her a follow. And again, she is a top 1% agent. Most of you aren't shopping in King County, but you want to work with another top agent. So reach out to Beth and she will make a connection for you. Beth, you're amazing. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. And we'll see you in Vegas. Bye.
Vegas. See you there. Bye.